Hey guys, my name's Danielle Collins, and this is my first time doing this, and I kind of live in spirituality, um, but I think I'm ready to bring it out, bring people in, share what I know, and yeah, so that's pretty much a little bit about me. All right, so to get to the word. A word. His word. So, I've been experiencing, I'm going to only talk, I don't really believe in, it doesn't resonate with me. And I read the Bible, but I don't want to share passages. I'm not I read it avidly, but I can't throw a passage out to you. It speaks to me in the moment, and then I'm like, ooh, that hit, and then drop it. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like, I'm gonna give you this, let me tell you something from this word that I'm not an expert at. So this is what has come to me. Nourishment. And an uplifting. So, I think where I'm going to start with this is if anybody, the minute I say this, people are like, oh yeah, this is her. How to interpret signs. What are signs? I grew up not with, God in the household, and it wasn't, frowned upon, or it wasn't like, again, I went to church like sometimes, but it wasn't until like I chose consciously in myself with no, nobody forcing me or moving me or speaking to me. And the more and more I gave in, the more and more I trusted, the more and more my faith became stronger, and so he's really, really consistent. That's what makes spirituality so universal. It's just, he doesn't do anything that's not for you, but like literally for you, in the realm of like what would make you say, wow. So like, I'll interpret a sign and it's like the biggest thing, or honestly, my days literally are filled with them. And so by the end of the night, I just like feel like I have to burst or tell somebody because it's almost too perfectly put together, constructed for me to hear. And so like, if I feel like when I talk about my signs, people are like, yeah, and I'm like, oh God, they don't get it, but it's because it's meant to be for you. And there's a way to get to that. So basically, how to hear them. I think the best example, because we've all experienced this, any human, is like you're walking and you're having a shit day, right? And everything just seems to be going wrong and like the more and more you get frustrated, the more and more wrong it goes. It's like, it's almost like the universe playing a trick on you. It's like, you step in shit, you get in your car, your air conditioning stops working, now you're sitting in shit, smelling like shit, and then traffic for no apparent reason decides, so there's a car accident, and that's also shit. And then like you go to the grocery store and you're, what should be an in and out, there's somebody in front of you that like decides to pay with a check and the cashier doesn't know how to endorse it, like all types of shit. And it's like, oh my God, can this day not getting any worse, or people get frustrated. I'm gonna bring that back. So, how I've learned to interpret. Not every day goes like that, right? So when there's a off in your energy and your, normalcy, you're like, wait. What you trying to say? What are you trying to get me to hear? Like if I'm walking and I step into shit and I had to stop and I had to clean and I had to so on and so forth, were you saving me from getting hit by a car? What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me to slow down for? I get into the car and, now I'm frustrated and so on and so forth, and there's a car accident. Why are you slowing me down? Are you asking something of me? Is there something I'm supposed to be hearing? Am I supposed to be on the lookout because you're infiltrating you're stirring? I believe the soul is the meeting place. So like you're stirring something in my soul, and people live in the shit instead of realizing that there's so much glory in why, like in that part. And when we tune into that, we turn it the other way. Like, you go to the store and the person, and it's the moment to make a connection. It's the moment to say, all right, you know what? It's almost funny because it's so connected to you and telling you something that you almost have to, when you start to give into it just being, something beautiful comes out of it. Somebody will tell you something, somebody will light up your day, somebody will, but I feel like a lot of us miss the signs and then alter what was supposed to give us, an understanding of what it is to be alive. We miss that because we're stuck in shit. And I think a lot of we get so we're caught up, we're distracted. Which brings me into my next little bit, consciousness and intent. I'm so conscious, and everything that I'm gonna say, because I ain't, using the Bible and telling John and Paul and Saul and all them story, I can only use me. So I wasn't always like this. It's not to, toot my horn. It's literally because that's the only way I can express it is in my truth. So I'm so conscious. I'm so conscious about other people that I don't even know, because I never want to be the part of somebody's day that could be the reason that it just went sour. I never want somebody, and most of the time people don't really think about their day by person, but if somebody does, I don't want to be responsible for that person being like, that fucking bitch. Excuse my French, I'm honest with myself, I'm free. God does not judge us on human appearance, what we say. This is my, again, personal belief. So I'm rolling with it. So excuse me, and for those that understand me, thank you. But I think that we are so concerned about what others think without thinking that we think that way. So we think that, we ain't worried about them. Or I've heard a lot of people yeah, I have social media, but I'm not on it a lot. And I'm like, So a lot is subjective to whoever that is. So I don't care about telling people, delegating, but consciousness brings a level of awareness in yourself, in your space, in your moment to moment. And when you start to practice that, it becomes a habit. And in that consciousness, then you start to form intent. So like, I walk into a place and the person that's, sitting at the desk, I am so intentional when I say, hey, how are you? How's your day going? Genuinely. I want to know because I've had some cool conversations, just literally, consciously, with intent to stimulate, hopefully. And sometimes people don't give it to me and I'm like, I mean, we both lose out because it's cool. When you connect, it's almost worth the 10 no's that you get. So that's one thing. That's okay. Consciousness and intent when it comes to time. I'm about to go to work. I don't think that we understand the value of time. It is the only commodity that is given to us equally, no matter what family you're from, no matter what part of the country, no matter, if you're a preemie or if you were, it doesn't matter. We all have the same amount of seconds in a day. We get, no more time is given. So how you orchestrate in consciousness and with intent, you then begin to shift it from this infinite thing, this realm of reality, and then it turns into moments of value because you're giving it your consciousness. You're conscious of what you talk about. You're conscious of what it feels and how good it feels to connect. You're conscious of I don't know, it's almost like you get addicted to giving it away just to receive it back, because even if you give it away and it doesn't come back, the giving it away feels good. You're hoping for, and most of the time it comes back. And I think people are weird, people don't want to be that weird person that's stimulating conversation or I can't wait. How many of us know somebody that believes when they get into an Uber that they shouldn't talk to their driver? Or vice versa. How many Uber drivers, out of courtesy, don't talk to the people that are riding in the back of literally their car? I'm putting my life, everything in your hands. I don't know you, John. Why would it be a courtesy to not value me in the moment so you're gonna carry me safely because you are interacting with me, you're engaging with me, we're expressing a connection. And so then that person honestly becomes more conscious. That person, more adrenaline is coursing through them. They're, smiling, which is, another hormone stimulating. And so there's this exchange, and it could be a 5-minute ride, it could be an hour ride, and it could be life-changing. It's literally the possibility every moment that you have to connect with somebody, the possibility of something that it was put in their heart, they didn't even know, But that's the beauty of God, is that he might give somebody a word, some stranger, somebody you've never seen, literally for you to hear. And it'll come out of them, they're not thinking anything in relation to you. And you're like, oh, I'm so happy. Oh, I'm so happy I'm conscious. Oh, because I wouldn't have gotten that. I would have had to work really hard for that. And I think that if we give consciousness and intent and time and connection, like more value, it would literally uplift. I don't think we realize how connected to this earth, to this planet that we are. We don't see, a plant as the equivalent to us. I mean, we cut down trees. We just don't. We think we're better or higher, or like it would be weird. Everything is in constant rotation. And so like the more you put out, the more that everything is alive. It'll give back, and we rely on our five senses. That's the only thing, our body senses. And so like, there's people that are deaf and blind, and when they lose a sense, that sense that they have to really rely on becomes heightened past what a human that with all their senses, has. And so sometimes just understanding that your eyes are literally connected, to your brain, and send light signals that stimulate parts of our brain and stimulate hormones, our pituitary, our hypothalamus. And so it starts to become an actual, like the sun's UV rays, it's the only thing on this earth that we can get vitamin D3 from. Don't let all that other stuff fool you. So like, the more we give to it, the more we take a moment to disconnect from our awareness, our what our eyes are seeing, and start listening to other parts of us, you'll heighten the relationship that all of us have. It's literally not possible to take it away. He literally is always with you. We choose to step away. And so I'm gonna close it up because, I'm new at this, but look, I'm gonna get there. But the third thing is nourishment. And when we think of nourishment, we think of, sorry, my babe. That's my human. Well, wait, could you see? Wait. Oh no. That's my human. He's the best. And he's being so patient so mommy can do this. So, last thing. Okay. Nourishment. Mind, body, and soul. And so, when we think nourishment, we think body, right? Like most people are like, fad diets and, or you heard about the keto or the fasting, or, I'm going on a cleanse and And so I think that we have the order mixed up of how to correctly nourish, because there's an order to it. And there's a reason when we know the couplet, the mind, body, and soul. And so when you start to nourish your mind, so every organ in our body has a function, right? Our mind is capable of holding our memories. It's capable of, it holds our neurons. It, our hormones. I mean, it's amazing. But the thing is that it has different departments for different types of memories, sensory and so on and so forth. And I know there's like this saying, I don't know how true this is. They're like, oh, we only use like this much of our brains. And so like, yeah, it sounds funny because like 10% or something silly. I don't think there's a way to actually quantify it. Everybody's so different, but you can stimulate it. You can 100% literally stimulate your mind. And so that stimulation comes from awareness, consciousness. It comes from being selfish. I know. I'm gonna get there. Okay. See, when you're selfish with what your mind is taking in, and you start to view your mind as a source of knowledge, to be rich in knowledge, and you start to, be selfish with what you talk about and what you put in your mind. It becomes like kind of how we do with our body, or people that are on diets are like, oh no girl, I can't have that because I'm trying to be, man, if you do that with your mind, child. So I'm gonna tell a story, and friend, don't be mad at me, but she's been one of my girlfriends, and I say this story because since the beginning of our relationship, I was that bitch that was doing the exact same thing. So when I said it, it almost took her aback because it was like, bitch, stop acting like you don't. But I had to stop her and get her to understand, I'm not judging you. I'm consciously telling you that what you're about to tell me about the one, the guy that you did this and that with last night does nothing for me. I don't learn anything. I don't care. It literally doesn't it doesn't help you with, build yourself. There's no like revelation that you're gonna get behind it. So what are we talking about? And I'm not saying it because I'm judging you and because now I don't do that, so I'm too conscious. No, I'm saying that because I literally, in this moment, I take every word so seriously, and I want to keep nourishing my mind in conversation, in the things I research, in the books that I read. I'm constantly notebooks and writing and constantly pushing my, like I have a book full of things that I'm like, I want to look this up, or have looked up, and I circle back. Like I think that the awakening of the mind gives way for your body to follow suit, because your mind there's so much electrical. Those neurons have more energy than your muscles. And I mean, think about what our muscles can do. But actually, most of the ATP that we use, the glucose, it's not the everyday movements, it's not the working out, it's right here. And so people see, because it's not, physically, our eyes aren't viewing it, we're trying to nourish one physical part, but not the thing that is the orchestrator for the commencement of the full nourishment and restoration of the body, of the soul, of your being. So, lastly, spirit. So, when you start to open your mind, when you start to challenge your mind, you start to be selfish with exploring your mind, your body follows suit. Because like, you become more conscious of how to feel good. Like you're constantly seeking like a higher elevation, a point. So like you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna really maybe probably won't have this to eat, or maybe I'm I feel good when I'm running and I'm getting those endorphins, so I'm gonna go and do that. So it opens it up so that way your body can follow suit. I honestly don't work out. I don't do like, and people have seen me and they're like, you're different. I'm like, I just had a baby actually, but it's not because I weigh any less, or that I'm so I've changed. It's because I try my hardest to consume as much knowledge. I'm hungry for it. I crave it. It's like it feeds me. And so I think that like the compliments or the things that people have said in the most beautiful way, it's not because my physical has changed, but because the aura, the light that is emitted, because this, ball of energy that's in my head is literally radiating and emitting. And so it makes you seem like, have you ever met somebody and you're like, or I don't know, they have this glow about them. It's happiness, it's contentment, it's a that it's an earned thing, because it's not easy to tune people out. You actually are nervous to hurt people's feelings, but when you demand it, because you're demanding it in a way that is, nobody that cares about you, if you said, I don't want to talk about that, would be like, no, you better talk to, or I'll never. Why? Like we're scared to hurt people's feelings, but at the end of the day, end up hurting ourselves because we lower our frequency, or lower the constant chase of wanting to level up to seek something. There's word in it. So in spirit, when our body and our mind align, it opens up the channels for spiritual radiance. It's deep. It's so deep. Your spirit can't be quantified, right? Like, I don't know if I'm sure people that have seen a dead body, and it's like there's no life there, and it's not because they're like physically that much different, but like you look and you're like, you can accept like, wow, they're gone. And it's crazy because it's not because they're not breathing, or it's not because maybe their skin's a little pale, but because there's literally the empty vessel, this just body with no soul. And you can feel somebody that's soulless. And I think that's what I'm experiencing in my consciousness, in my seeking, and is that because we're not nourishing ourselves in mind, body, and soul, we're losing out on the possibility to uplift as a whole. And so one thing I'm going to leave you guys with, and it's something that like we're not here. Nothing on this earth is here by mistake. It's incredible. There's something that you were put here for. And it's not easy, to understand what it is. But it's not it's not about trying to figure it out. It's about living in the conscious mind in order to be able to vibrate your body, to vibrate at a higher level in order for the unlocking of your soul, which is where God meets you. And so then the signs become clear. Then you feel what it is to be filled, what it is to connect. Not even in just with others, but with yourself. So with that, guys, I want to say, do me a favor. When you get a chance, take your shoes, take your socks off, find a piece of some type of land, whether it be grass, soil, whatever it is, and close your eyes, you find the sun, and you close your eyes, you take 10 deep breaths. I practice it, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a really, really beautiful thing. I can go into the science about it, but that'll be for next time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope everyone received that, and I'll be posting more. Thank you so much.